Well, hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I'm Brandon Waltons, the managing editor here at Texas Scorecard, joined by, of course, our publisher, Michael Quinn Sullivan, on this is the day, okay? This is the day that the Republican Party of Texas convention officially kicks off, and people are flooding in. If you can see behind me right here in the exhibit hall, people are coming in. They're getting registered. They're getting excited before they finally kind of start their business, which really begins in earnest at 10 a.m., and, you know, we've been talking about this a lot, but this is a really big deal, not just because it only happens every 2 years, but because it's really been 4 years since we've had an in-person Republican convention.
Yeah, no, that's the thing I keep hearing, Brandon, from folks. As I was walking in this morning, last night at the hotel, yesterday when the convention hall was open for a bit, just folks are saying how glad they were to finally be back together again, because you think about this. This is almost 10,000 delegates and alternates. A lot of these, and literally from all over the state, and so a lot of these folks will serve on committees together. They will have done various activities in the past, but the only time they see each other is here. Someone who lives in Corpus Christi, someone who lives in Amarillo, and so at the Republican convention is when they get to see each other. So there's been a bit of family reunion vibe to this. Unlike I've been coming to Republican conventions, figured it up last night since 1996. Texas Republican conventions. I think I've only missed one or two in there, and this is the first one that's had this real kind of family reunion vibe to it, and it's really cool to see it. Look, I don't care if you're a Republican, a Democrat, a Libertarian, whatever. There is something fun when you see folks who are friends reuniting, and that's what we've seen here. It's been a lot of fun.
Absolutely,
I'm watching folks out here in our booth do that very thing, catch up, and I haven't seen you, that kind of thing.
Absolutely. But it's not all just fun. Okay, if you looked around at our booth right now, and you looked at a lot of the booths around us right now, there is a lot of fun being had. But it's not all just fun and meeting each other, right? There's some actual business that does get done in the Texas GOP convention, stuff that we are going to see happen over the next few days. What should we expect?
Yeah, so today, of course, is when the work begins in the first general meeting of the convention in the big convention hall, and then they start going to their caucus meetings based on senatorial district. The two most important policy things to happen is the crafting of the state's party platform. That is the kind of the magnus opus of what Republicans believe in 2022. And then from that then comes the setting of the priorities. Yesterday, Sidney Henry on your writing team wrote a fantastic article kind of outlining, look, they whittled down all the various proposals to 15. The temporary committee did, and now over the next 2 days, you're going to see those 15 maybe modified, change, and then go before the entire convention delegates on Saturday to set the 8 Republican Party priorities for the Texas legislature in 2023.
And looking forward, looking past what happens here at the convention, I think a concern that I've heard echoed from a number of delegates is, okay, we've got these legislative priorities, right? But how do we actually get those into law? People joke when they're dealing with the platform, when they're dealing with the priorities, to say, man, I wish we were creating the law right here, right, at the convention. That's not, of course, what happens. A lot has to go through the state legislature. Is the work really done when they gavel out here, or is that when the real work begins?
No, this is kind of the preliminary for the real work. The real work of, if folks come here thinking, well, I've done my job, I voted for the party platform, I've influenced the change in the priorities, well, they're deceiving themselves. The real work is what they do out of this, because it requires these folks here, the convention delegates, their friends at home, to be in constant communication with their Republican lawmakers to make sure those Republicans understand. These folks give big majorities, session after session after session, to Republicans, and when things don't get done, yes, we need to blame those lawmakers, but a lot of that blame also rests with us. The fact that we aren't pushing them hard enough to do the things that we want done.
Okay, so previewing a little bit of what we're going to be doing at Texas Scorecard, we've got a series of interviews lined up. We're going to be grabbing folks in throughout the next couple days here at the convention. Coming up, we've got former State Senator Don Huffines, who is announcing the launch of a new Liberty Foundation they're starting. We're going to be talking about that. We've got State Representative Brian Slayton. This afternoon at 4 o'clock, we're going to have Party Chairman Matt Rinaldi. We're going to have a few guests sprinkled in between there. What kind of before we go here, what's maybe the most exciting part? What are you most looking forward to happening in the next few days?
Well, certainly here in the Texas Scorecard booth, thing I'm most interested in, it's going to be cool having some of the different kind of opinion makers and policy shapers, mainly sitting with you up here. But what I'm more interested in is the stuff that's going on to my right, where we've got this interview booth set up for delegates, where we are getting their thoughts and opinions on the issues facing Texas, and you're going to be seeing those. Viewers are going to be able to see those sprinkled in our content, see that those standalone interviews and other things here over the next couple of weeks, because these are the folks who are most important. Whether you're talking about Brian Slayton or Matt Rinaldi, those people are all interesting, but these are the folks who matter because these are the Texans who are supposed to be in charge.
Absolutely. And so for folks watching this at home, keep an eye on the Facebook, right? Click the bell, get notifications when we go live so you'll know when we're having those conversations, when they're taking place. You can follow all of our coverage about what's happening right here at the Republican Party of Texas's convention, and most importantly, why it matters for Texans, even the folks who weren't able to make it out here. We're going to have all that coverage for you at TexasScorecard.com. Right now, we're going to sign off. I'm Brandon Waltons. This is Michael Quinn Sullivan. We'll catch up with you later. Thanks.